Hello, my dear friends. Hello, my dear friends and family. Operator Starsky here together with Marcus from Austria. And first of all, I would like to say thank you, Marcus, for joining me today on this stream, joining our little family there in the chat. And also, big thanks to everybody who managed to join our stream. Hopefully, you already have a lot of questions to Marcus, because Marcus is combat medic, instructor, and also volunteer who saved lives on the front lines, military lives, civilian lives, and knows a lot about evacuation. And he's been in Ukraine since 2022 and until this day, and until as much as needed. Hello, Marcos, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you.
Can you tell us just a bit about yourself? I know that a lot of our viewers already watched your interview, but for those who didn't see it, can you tell about yourself, what you do, and a bit of your background as well?
Okay. Yes, my name is Marcus. Everybody calls me Max. I know in Ukraine it would be more Maxim or something like this, but in Austria we don't have Maxim, so Marcus is also Max. I'm 45. I'm from Vienna and came to Ukraine in 22, in March of 22. The first 1.5 years I just did yeah, humanitarian aid, bringing humanitarian aid. Most of it was medical supplies to medics and hospitals, stop points, and so on, closer to the front lines, because this was the place where I wanted to go. I didn't want to just go to Ukraine and bring something and leave it there and go back. I wanted to bring it to the people that were in need. So this is what I did the first about 1.5 years. Then donations got lower and lower in Austria. So I decided to change the job and searched for something where I could help in a medical part, like doing medevacs or something like this. So I ended up in a organization, and I thought we could do medevacs there, but it wasn't. We were at the polygon of Rubish. You know it. We did technical medicine training there, and from there we moved to somewhere direction Dnipro, and there I could do I don't call it medevac because it wasn't medevac. Medevac for me is from the front lines back. So it was transport of wounded soldiers and also civilians from hospitals to Dnipro. In Dnipro, there are about, I think, 16 hospitals where we brought the people to the hospitals. And so I learned a lot of the way that the people were wounded and how to treat them and so on. And I just wanted to learn. And then I decided to do something else because this wasn't enough for me, and it wasn't close to the front lines. For me, in my opinion, everybody can do this job. So I thought it will be better to go and do something else. So I ended up doing my own organization. Also wanted to do the medevacs, and we will do medevacs, but this takes a little bit of time. We need to be not only fully equipped, but also legally working. And this is the bigger problem, the much bigger problem. So we have to fulfill a lot of tasks that are connected to the laws. In the meantime, we figured out that the units not only need medevacs and evacs, they also need help in teaching the people in tactical medicine. At the beginning, I thought, yes, maybe they want to have a little bit help, but then I could see, no, they don't need a little bit help. There is almost nothing. Nobody is there. All the medics are at the front lines, so they don't have anybody that can teach their guys, teach the soldiers, especially when they are new. Yeah, and we were very lucky. We ended up in a battalion that I really love, Alcatraz Battalion, the 93rd Brigade, Kolotnia. Alcatraz Battalion is built up by former prisoners, and they are very motivated, very motivated. And I know they were prisoners. I know they did something wrong in their life. I know it, of course. But for us, they're great guys. We really love them, and this is the place where I have to be.
Marcus, what kind of prisoners are they? Because, for example, when we look at Russia, there's a lot of, like convicts. I dedicated a whole, I don't know, 2 or 3 videos to like Russian satanist cannibals who like ate 14 teenagers and then they were pardoned and sent to the war. What kind of prisoners are we talking about here in Ukraine?
In our battalion, I don't know about all the other battalions with prisoners, but in our battalion, the prisoners are they did something like stealing something or some kind of drug problems, drug dealing maybe, something like this. Some of them had problems with money-wise, so yeah, something like this. Not a big deal. Not the hard criminals.
So basically, not violent crimes.
No, not there.
Because in Russia, it's like another level of insanity. The dude raped or killed somebody, then he goes to the war, then he returns back as a hero, and they name like a school table after this dude, for example. And kids sitting behind that table, they will be learning like the story of this honorable Russian man. That is completely. There are so many cases like that. I'm like monitoring those channels with like Russian cringe. That's a completely different level. Tell me this. Currently, I know that you are running an organization of combat medicine instructors. Can you talk a bit more about this?
Yes, the organization is still small because we don't get money from some countries or something like this. We have just money that is collected by some guys that want to help us. So the support is necessary because we don't want to work with volunteers. Working with volunteers in this field isn't good enough. The quality is not good enough, and the volunteers wouldn't be there for a very long time. And you can imagine we are working with the unit, and not everybody should see everything that is there. Not everybody should know the positions and. So we don't want to work with volunteers. We really want to have instructors that are fully paid. And this is the problem for us is we are looking for Ukrainians, first of all, because of the language. You can't teach these guys in English. It's not possible. You need to know Ukrainian or at least Russian language, but I prefer Ukrainian language. So we're looking for instructors. They don't need to be instructors when they start working with us. They can learn everything being with us. Just we can teach them. We can teach them. It's not so difficult. What we are doing is not a very high level of tactical medicine. We are teaching all service members level and a little bit more. So this is what all the soldiers should know. We also can teach combat lifesaver and combat medics, but this is a very special part, and not a lot of people that need this kind of training. We have enough trainer for this part. Yeah. So at the moment we are searching for people that want to be tactical medicine instructors and want to learn it, being with us and then working with us.
Yeah, dear friends, very important to understand that language barrier in this specific battalion is very important moment. And if you know people, if you are such people, or if you know people through 3 handshakes, who can be who can be combat medicine instructors or want to volunteer for such work, or also speak either Ukrainian language or Russian language, or at least understand either of those languages, please contact Marcos via that email in the chat. Again, guys, it's really important and I would appreciate it big time. Tell me this, Marcos, when you decided to go to Ukraine, when the full-scale invasion started, how did your family react to this? Because I know that your family is in Austria and you made it all the way to Ukraine, to the country in war. How did your friends and family react to this?
Not very good. They didn't like it, but they knew that when I say I will do this, then I do this. So it's for me, it's just a yes or a no, and the decision was I will do it. So it was, but I didn't want my parents to know it, so I tried to hide it and told them I have to work a lot. This is why I can't come to them and visit them, just because of the work. But when you can't visit your parents for 9 months, you can imagine they figure out there is something wrong. Yeah, but all of them, they didn't like that I do this because it's dangerous, or they thought it is very dangerous, but they supported it because they feel that it is necessary and it is the right thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I can understand the parents as well. For example, when I decided to become a policeman in Ukraine, 2015, my father said that it's better to have a daughter that is a prostitute than a son who is a cop. It was, yeah, it was kind of funny, but still. By the way, do you follow the recent? Because tonight we are talking about whatever we like. This is the channel where you can curse and swear and drink and whatever. Do you follow the recent news about Charlie Kirk in the United States?
Yes, I know about it, but I don't know too much about it, because my focus is on Ukraine. My focus is on the job. So usually I know a lot of what is happening in the whole world, but since 22, I don't have time for finding information and so on. My focus is on the job, just on the job.
Yeah.
But of course, I heard about it.
Yeah, what's your opinion? Because Russians, for example, are launching like this whole disinformation campaign, saying that first of all it was Ukrainian trace. Ukrainians hired like a guy to kill a far-right prominent American nationalist and stuff like that. And generally speaking, Russians are now pushing, this, how to call it, like Ukrainians hated this dude so much. And what is your opinion as a European Austrian volunteer in Ukraine. What's your take on that case?
Yeah, we know the Russians. This is what Russians are doing all the time. There's something, and they will find a second truth, the truth number 20. They find not there is something or it is not. There are just 10 ways of telling a story. And this is how Russians are working. Every time, every time. It's always the same. It's the same with the drones in Poland. Yes, they were sent by Ukraine, of course. Yeah. We, there's nothing else to do for us but sending drones to Poland, of course. No, this is Russia. We know that.
Yeah, one crazy thing, actually, it was in the media. The drones that were shot down over Ukraine in July, that were basically halfway to the Polish border, they were equipped with Polish SIM cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually they could use the Polish internet to be directed, to be guided. And the question is, why did they do that? Like, why? And just so people could understand that it wasn't just an accident; it was a planned operation.
Yeah. Yes. Why are they doing things like this? They always try to divide people. Always. This is what they can do. The only thing they really can do. Very good. In Ukraine and in Poland, the history of Ukraine and Poland isn't a history that was always very good for both sides. So you have people in Poland that don't like Ukrainians, and also in Ukraine, I heard about yes, the Polish guys want to take over Ukraine. So I heard this in 22, 23, and so on. They always told them, "Hey guys, this is Russian propaganda. Don't listen to this shit. This is just Russian propaganda, and this is the same." I don't know what they wanted to do. Maybe they wanted to send the drones to Poland, but I don't think so. I really think not this. I mean the drones that were in summer. The drones now, of course, they wanted to send it to Poland. They did it. But the others, maybe they didn't want to send them to Poland. Maybe they just wanted to have drones with Polish SIM cards inside in Ukraine, so that Ukrainians can see it and maybe think that there are Polish people that are also working together with the Russians. I don't know. Maybe.
Well,
Maybe you remember in 2014, 15, we had problems with migration. Migration in Europe was a lot. So, and Germany wanted to let, not only Germany, a lot of people wanted to let them in because there were children, there were women, and so on, and they didn't want them to die when in winter or die on boats or something like this. So they wanted to bring them in. Poland didn't want to do this. I remember this very well. And what happened? From Belarus, they sent people that wanted to go to Poland, but these people didn't want to go to Poland. Of course, they wanted to go to Germany, and Belarus brought them to Belarus by plane and then sent them to the border because they knew exactly what the Polish guys would do at the border. And they wanted to have these pictures so that the European Union is divided. This is just what the Russians are doing all the time, all the time.
I completely agree with you, and like the fact that those Polish SIM cards went to Russia obviously confirms that there are some people working with them. But I remember those days. I remember, like, was it 2020 or 2021 when basically Belarus was pushing those immigrants to the border with Poland and with Ukraine, and on that corner between Belarus, Ukraine, and Poland, Actually, my guys, my Rubij was deployed there back in those days. It was like a very interesting deployment because we were never really trained to deal with like masses of like during riot control, things like that. We were never trained, never prepared for that, but it was an interesting experience. And I remember very, very well when my guys were there in that tiny corner. I don't remember how that village is called, but it's literally, in the corner between three countries. Mm-hmm. And I remember we look at the Polish guys across the border. They're like, hey, hello, And then we look at Belarusian part of the territory, and there's nobody there because we know that they're sitting there at the observation points looking at us. And already back then we knew that they were considering us basically enemies already back then. Yeah, the feeling was very, very uneasy. And that very idea of using immigrants as part of the hybrid warfare, that is 100% Russian shit. 100%.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking about Charlie Kirk, the reason, again, I'm talking about this is because people, for example, in the United States, especially conservatives, they want to know, like, what's the opinion of Ukrainians on this murder, And like I receive a lot of commentaries like, what do you think, guys? First of all, it's a murder, all right? You don't do that stuff. As a former policeman, again, I don't support such things. On the other hand, when you hear opinion of Ukrainians coming from general Ukrainian public about this very person who supported Russian aggression, basically, who opposed providing Ukraine with defense aid and things like that, who was saying that Crimea was always Russian, who basically supported Russian aggression and invasion of Ukraine. You hear that from people who have to live every single day under Russian bombs, under Russian missiles. And what else do you expect to hear? I don't know. Even during Nuremberg trial over the Nazi criminals, basically there were tried people who were pushing other people, German people, Austrian people, against minorities, against other nations. They were tried because they basically were those who provoked the war using their narratives and using their words. So what else would you expect? What do you think about it?
Yeah, the same. Killing people is not a way of politics. This is the wrong way. Of course, this is the wrong way. I don't want to say that I'm surprised. Maybe this guy kicked some other asses. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, killing him is 100% the wrong way. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't me from Germany, by the way, it says there in the comments. Can you please tell Marcus that all decent Germans are very thankful to him for what he's doing for Ukraine?
Thank you. And thank you to the guys in Germany for the support that we have. Because all the money we get is most of the money is from Germany and Austria, and also a lot of from United States, but most of it from Germany and Austria. So thank you very much. This support is very welcome and needed.
Danke sehr. Marcus, tell us just a bit about people in Alcatraz. Alcatraz sounds really cool, by the way, I admit. Tell us about this battalion. Tell us about who are your best friends there, people you communicate with every day, people who bring you most impressions in this very battalion.
This is very difficult because it is a very mixed battalion. There are a lot of younger guys and also guys that are older than I am. And um, what I can see is when they are new, when they come to the battalion, they are like they're fighting for their own life, and they're just one. You have a lot of people, but there's just one and another one and another one and another one. So 2 weeks later, it's a group. 2 weeks later, you can see they are living and fighting together, and they are really living together. They don't have houses or something like this. They are living in the trenches. They have to dig their own homes. So, and they have to work day and night. So our training is not like most of the technical medicine training that I have seen in Ukraine, like a course. You come to this house or whatever at a polygon, and you have a couple of hours of training, and then you have time to rest and so on. They don't have. They don't have time to rest. They are on training every day, at least 6 days a week. On Sunday they have a little bit of rest, but they are going shooting, tactical training, tactical medicine training, and so on, digging, marching, and so on. And this is what they are doing all the time. So it's not the same way of training that all the other soldiers have. They don't have the same rights. So they have to live together, really together, every single minute. And you can see it. You can see some of them, in some parts of the job, not so fast in learning, and you don't hear all the words I don't want to say now. You know what I mean. Everybody knows what I mean in social language, but they don't do it. They try to be comrades, and we support this very much because exactly this comrade that maybe is slow today is the comrade that will save your life tomorrow. So be kind, treat them like a very good comrade and brother, and that's what we can see. That's what we can see, and I really I'm very hard connected to these guys. They are my brothers.
Yeah, absolutely. Without respect, without brotherhood, you cannot imagine a military unit, because the only place you can imagine a military unit without camaraderie, without respect, is basically like terror Russian, I don't know, 55th Marine Brigade, or any other units. Oh my God. When I see them, like shooting their own wounded, that's...
Wow. In Ukraine, they don't shoot the wounded. They try to bring the dead comrades home, even if it is very dangerous for them. They don't want to leave them outside. It is not shooting their own comrade. Never. I've never seen or heard about
Yeah.
something like this. No, no.
Well,
This is very.
even in 2022, Russians already brought, those mobile crematoriums
Yeah.
to Ukraine, and we were like, why? And so now we know. The main reason they don't want to bring their bodies home is because there's a big difference between soldier who was killed in action and soldier who is missing in action. Because if he's missing in action, he can be missing for like decades. And basically, like, his wife just sits there waiting for compensation, and it doesn't come, and it will never come. because Russia is not seeing the best days in terms of its economy right now. So they don't need like another million of people killed in action. They want people missing in action.
Yeah.
There were even cases when they would trade like they're dead. When Ukraine had this big exchange recently with Russians, they agreed to exchange their dead, and Russia literally sent like a bunch of their own with like Russian passports.
Yeah.
That was insane.
I remember. Yeah.
That was insane. What do people in Austria think about what is happening now in Ukraine, and how do their opinion shifts over time? The reason I'm asking this is because over time, there were several polls, by the way, I already saw them. Opinion is slowly shifting. You know, in 2022, it was all for Ukraine and stuff. 2024, late 2024, already percent of people that were like, well, maybe Ukraine can like trade some territories, you know, for peace, started slowly growing. And one of the reasons for that, by the way, is because Russia is also growing a number of its paid talking heads on YouTube, on different social media, who literally promote that Russian shit. What's the opinion of Austrian people, generally your friends? Like, I'm not asking your opinion as like sociologist because I know that you're not, but generally your friends, your family, people you communicate with, what do they think about it?
I can't tell too much about the Austrians because I'm only connected to Austrians that are on our side. All the others, I'm not interested in their opinion. I try to tell them what I can see in Ukraine. I try to tell them what I learned in Ukraine, what I learned about the Russians, and so on. But it's like talking to a tree or a car, or I don't know, not to people. It's always coming the same, and you can see it is Russian propaganda. You can see it, and I don't like it. They don't know that it is Russian propaganda because they don't know anything about propaganda and Russian propaganda, so they can't see it. But all the other people, there is a lot of support, and yesterday I had an online meeting with a group of Austrians, and you can't imagine how big the support is. We know that the support in 22 was much more, but this wasn't the same support that we have now. It was just every time when there's a war is beginning, and all of the people want to end this war, and all the poor people in Ukraine, we have to send them socks, and we have to send them used T-shirts, and all of this shit. But this is just half a year, maybe 1 year, but and then this is done. All the people that are there after this period are on our side, and they know what to do, and they know why we are doing it. So this is great. And also the politics in Austria. We have one party that is, I think they want to live in Russia. Maybe they should go. It's okay. But all the rest, and especially everybody that is in charge, is on our side. So the government is on side of Ukraine, 100%, and I'm very happy about it. I'm very happy about it.
We have several. First of all, thank you for the insights, because to me it's very interesting. I know about Germany, for example, but you are probably one of the few Austrians I no, over the past 3 years, somehow it happened this way. Stephen Booth says, I remember seeing a video of captured Russian soldier. It was in some of my episodes. Captured Russian soldier phoning home, and his mother trying to deny he was her son because she'd already collected the death bonus on him. It was literally Dmitro, and Dmitro is the guy who interviews the Russian prisoners, and he shows the son, Russian captain, by the way, and he's like, "Mama, it's me. You see my face, my tattoos. It's me." And she's like, "No, you're not." Sasha or Kos or whatever his name was, like, "No, you're not. You're lying. You're not my son." He's like, "Mom, it's me. Dad, tell her that it's me." He's like, no, our son is dead. You're not our son." He's like, Dad, it's me." He's like, "Show me tattoos." He's showing his tattoos. He's like, no, I don't believe you. I'm like, Sasha or not Sasha? And that is just what you said in your interviews. Like they have 20 kids, 10 die. Like whatever, they have 10 more. And dear friends, by the way, we made interview earlier this Saturday. It's available on the UATV. I will throw it in the community post sometime. Please check it out because it's really interesting. What surprises you the most when we speak about Russians?
That they don't care about their people. This is what surprised me the most. I didn't expect that they want to have a war, losing thousands and thousands again and again. And for them, it's, okay, send the next. I didn't expect this. I really didn't expect this.
I spoke to some of my friends from the Marines, and they say they were holding a span of the front line with railway, and basically there's like this passage under the railway, and Russians were sending the same number of men with the same number of like BTRs, BMPs every single day using the same road, and our guys would literally eliminate them using like anti-tank missiles and grenades and stuff in the same spot, so it would pile up with the bodies, and he told me it looked like Warhammer, basically, like field of bodies. And instead of changing something, changing like approach, changing tactics, because this stuff doesn't work, they just die there, the Russians would just send more and more people until our guys ran out of grenade launchers, and basically they couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, of course, like when you listen to this stuff, you understand that it's completely crazy. But when you think what is the foundation of it, because the foundation is Russian School of Military Planning that was established in like 1947. Nothing changed since then, because in Russian Military School of Military Planning, you have one decision maker. It's, for example, a brigade commander or like a general. And he draws a map with plenty of arrows, time, this unit goes here, this unit goes here, no step left, right, you just gotta go this way and do your task. And if you die, another squad will or platoon will supplant you, and you just have to go. And it doesn't matter, like if it doesn't work, if there's a minefield, no, you just go. And that is like fundamental difference between NATO planning or Ukrainian planning, because we already have different approach to that. I believe since 2015-16 we started like reforming slowly, painfully, but in Ukraine we reformed our military planning and decision-making process, and we don't have that stuff now. We have for example, a sergeant with his squad, and he's given a task, and this task is given by his commander based on all of the services who provide him with the information, advice, which is better, and then of course the commander takes decision and he gives the task to his company commander, and company commander gives tasks to his platoon commanders and stuff, until the very sergeant, squad leader, and squad leader is given the task: take, for example, this position, tell us what you need for that, we will provide you with everything necessary, or whatever we can provide you with, right? At this point, because like we're not as rich as Russians, and then you will go and do it the way you see it, right? In Russia, it's like literally you just go, no step left, no step right, because it doesn't work like that in the Russian army.
Yeah, of course, because you, as a commander, you need to trust the guys, and you need to know that they know their job. So having a lot of people for Russia means we don't need to teach them. We just need to tell them forward. Now, that's it. That's it. Follow the map, and this is what they are doing. Yeah, and we can't do it. We don't want to lose our people. Our people are this what we have in this country. Our people. We need the people because we love them, and not they are not just part of like a weapon. Use it, forget it, something like this.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's the reason why we spend so much time on training personnel.
yeah,
While
yes.
in Russia, oh my God, what was the fastest record? I think it was like 5 days. Maybe outdated, but literally between his mobilization and his death, like 5 days passed. How freaking crazy is that? Can you imagine something like that in, I don't know, like Austrian army, for example?
Nowhere. North Korea maybe. Yeah, but even not there. I think Russia is the only country where this can happen.
Why are there people in Europe, for example, who still admire, like, this Russian army or Russian culture, Russian military traditions and stuff like that?
I don't understand it. In my opinion, most of the people are just talking bullshit. They are not on the Russian side. They're just against their own government. And because our government is on the Ukrainian side, they have to be on the Russian side. So I think they don't they don't think about this. They're just, I don't like my government. That's it.
Yeah. We have a very important commentary from Bridget. Can you help me? How come I don't get an information when Starsky has a live chat? Bridget, I will tell you a horrible truth about YouTube nowadays. So first of all, algorithm changed, and you have to literally check out channels you want to see yourself. Now it works like this. I don't know how to explain it. And a lot of channels with big audiences, they are not showing up as frequently as smaller channels, because the new algorithm on YouTube is now pushing like younger channels with less people in order to promote them better. And unfortunately, channels with bigger audiences are not as viewed as they were previously. And in addition to that, there's still hordes of Russian bots who literally go to like my channel or Ukraine Matters or Denis Davidov and click do not recommend, and basically YouTube algorithm thinks that this channel sucks. So this is the reality. The only thing that worked for me, for example, people that I watch all the time, I just go and check out their channels myself. And basically, this is how I find the information. Marcus, what are your favorite YouTube channels?
I don't have a lot, but there's an Austrian guy, Geopol. Of course, on the right side. But there are not a lot of YouTube channels that I am watching. I don't have a lot of time for it. Of course, I also know Georgie, Ukraine Matters, of course. But I think that's it. That's it.
Did you communicate with some of our YouTubers like Anna from Ukraine, for example, while being in Ukraine?
Do you mean if I had communication with them?
Did you meet? Did you meet there?
No.
Well, you still have a chance. Yeah, especially Anna from Ukraine. I'm sure that she would be, for example, very interested to talk to you. Which, by the way, I gotta text her about this. Yeah, about the combat medicine instructors, because this is very important. Guys, just to remind you, Green Cross MedEvac, the organization of Marcus, is looking for combat medicine instructors for his battalion. So if you know people who either speak Ukrainian or understand Ukrainian, or at least speak or understand Russian, and want to work in the team of combat medicine instructors, please check out the email in the description. And if it's not you, but you know people, people know people, then just send them this email, because this is very important. Because at this very point, Marcus is working for the battalion of the glorious 93rd Brigade Холодный Яр, which, by the way, that raven is so familiar to me. And the reason for that is because Холодный Яр is actually a location in Ukraine. It's like Cherkasy, Smila, Alexandria, that region. And Холодный Яр in Ukrainian history, actually, it was like a cradle of Ukrainian uprising, all right, throughout history, like centuries ago. Ukrainian Haidamaki, like 15, 16, 17 centuries, those times, they would gather in Холодный Яр. They would baptize their swords and sabers in the lake, in the Black Forest, and they would go and fight. And same stuff, by the way, took place in that very area early in the 20th century, 20th years of the 20th century, when Russian Bolsheviks were invading Ukraine, and Ukrainian rebels were gathering again in Холодный Яр, like hundreds of years before. And there was a very, very strong movement of Ukrainian partisans fighting against Russian invaders, also Chinese invaders, because Russian Bolsheviks had this sort of international army, basically like today with North Koreans. And Chinese also participated in the invasion of Ukraine 100 years ago, which was completely crazy. But speaking of Polish, like Ukrainian/Polish history, one of the coolest episodes that I respect very much, I know a lot of Polish people also respect very much, is when combined Ukrainian and Polish army went to Kiev to suppress the uprising of Russian Bolsheviks in Kiev. And Ukrainian commander Simon Petlura, together with Marszałek Pilsudski from Poland, our combined armies went there, eliminated that Red Plague, and then they had a mutual parade in Kiev. I still see from time to time, those black-white pictures from those times, and I actually admire, because when Ukraine and Poland cooperated militarily, Russia would always have its butt kicked. With Sahaydachny, when Sahaydachny went there, or basically throughout history. So it was fun. But you do learn a lot about Ukrainian history, right?
Yes, of course. What I wanted to say about the raven. You know what the raven is for us. This is not an eagle. An eagle flies alone. Raven are together.
Yeah.
This is like we are. Our battalion. We are fighting together. We are doing everything together. There's not just one raven. There are a lot of, and this is what I really like. What I also wanted to say about the history, Polish and Ukrainian history, I'm from Vienna. We also have a part of our history is also connected to Poland and Ukraine, because we had the Osmans in Vienna 2 times. And the second time was in 1683, in September 12th. The Polish and Ukrainians came, and Vienna was free again. So this is our history with Polish and Ukrainian troops together, fighting for Vienna. So
Yeah, that's very interesting, by the way. I, I gotta learn more about this period of time, frankly speaking. Tell me this: you have been to basically all over Ukraine, all sorts of Ukrainian settlements in the front lines, in the hot spots of the front lines, like Kherson, for example, Dnipro, Donbass, and many others. What situation looks like nowadays in places, for example, like Kramatorsk? I remember you told me previously, and again, the reason I'm asking this was because I've been to Kramatorsk like late 2023, and already situation that is there now is completely different from what it was in 2023. Can you talk a bit more about this?
yeah, as I said, I was at a lot of places in Ukraine, almost everywhere, especially everywhere close to the front lines. But from October 22, it was most of the time Donbass. October 22, it was the first time for me to go to Bakhmut. And then I said I will stay there. I will not stay there, but I will come again and again with all the medical supplies to Bakhmut, because there was immediately a strong connection to the people there, to the units there, and to the medics there. And of course, also because one of my Ukrainian friends was fighting in Bakhmut, so I wanted to bring all the support I can bring to this direction. So this was why I decided to go to Bakhmut again and again. But after Bakhmut, it was Chasiv Yar and then Avdiivka and so on. In Kramatorsk, it is very different, because Kramatorsk, it's 25 now, and Bakhmut was 23, Avdiivka was 24. At this time, we didn't have a lot of drones. We had drones there. The drones were there, and especially in Avdiivka, we had the problems with drones. In Bakhmut, we almost didn't have these problems. In Kramatorsk now, we have drones flying inside of the city. So this is very different from all the other places. But at the same time, as everywhere in Ukraine, people are living there. You can go and you can go for shopping. You can go to a pizzeria or Georgian food, or to Borscht or something like this. So the city is alive. Of course, not the same way that Kiev is, because in Kramatorsk the curfew is at 9. So in summer it's you have sun outside and it is curfew. So it's not a big fun there. But yes, the last 2, 3, 4 weeks it changed a lot. I didn't see a lot of it now because at the moment now I'm in Kiev. I hope that I can go back very soon because my guys need me and I want to be there. But yeah, I know exactly what's happening there. And you also know about the road between Izum and Sloviansk. It's a problem now because of the drones again. FPV drones have a very wide range now. So yeah, it is different from all the other cities. But I can't see that the Russians will take Kramatorsk. I can't see it. I bought a house there. Our organization bought a house, and I bought a house for myself. Very small, and you wouldn't call it a house, maybe, but I bought this house because I want to be there also after this war. And it will not be a Russian house. I'm sure about it. I'm sure about it. This will stay Ukrainian, and um, I think all of Ukraine will be Ukraine again. All of it. I really believe in this. I really believe in this. But I think the Russians will never make it to Kramatorsk. They can destroy a lot, we know it, but they will not set their feet into Kramatorsk.
We have several commentaries. First commentary from Flomi. Can you comment on why Gouda has become so expensive?
No, I don't know.
So Gouda became so expensive because I came to Germany and I eat a lot of Gouda. It's Gouda and Masdamer is like my favorite stuff. And we have, because, according to the laws of economics, the growing demand equals growing price. It's like, Also, we have comment from Lisbeth who says, now Starsky is going to ask Marcus what his favorite dish is, and we are off, because this is what we always do on my channel. So you were nagging before the stream started, you were nagging that you gained some weight while
Not
in
some,
Ukraine.
a lot. A lot. Especially in 22. I was just driving and driving and driving. In the first 9 months, I did 140,000 kilometers. So, sorry, just driving and driving. And driving and eating, of course. Everywhere I came, I had to eat. Driving 20 hours a day means you have to stay awake and you eat. So I gained 20 kilos, more than 20 kilos the first year. And I don't know how to lose this weight now. Because in Ukraine, you can eat everywhere and almost everything is good.
And what is your favorite dish? Like, if you could pick only one in Ukrainian cuisine, what would it be?
Varenike vishnya.
Oh my God.
Yes. And sirniki.
Sырники. Oh, that's like sырники. I only saw I saw the runi in like Germany, Kartoffelpuffer, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But vareniki with cherries and sырники is like how to describe it, like cheese.
Yeah. Cheesecake, but not really.
No, cheese pancakes.
Yes.
Cheese pancakes. They're like pancakes, but they're tiny and puffy. They're made of dough that is mixed with like cottage cheese, and it's sweet and a bit sour. And if you add sour cream, because in Ukraine you eat everything with sour cream, then it's, oh my god, it's just so
Yes.
good.
And my next problem, uzva.
Uzvar. So uzvar is you boil like apricot, you boil cherries, you boil berries, all sorts of berries, and in the end you have something that we call uzvar, or compote. It's either or. The difference is that compote is mainly like sweet, while uzvar is just, you know, the water with this concentrated taste of berries, usually without sugar, or maybe just a little. Yeah.
It smells a little bit like barbecue.
Yeah. It's like kind of smoked a bit.
Yes. This smoke. And when I had it the first time, I thought, "Oh, what's this?" But then, not so bad. It's a little bit like whiskey, but without alcohol.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know how they do it. We have like this. We have a bunch of smoked. Guys, I don't even know if you have that in your countries, like smoked berries or smoked fruits. For example, we have plums, and the way we cook them is we smoke plums, and they have this very very specific kind of smell and taste. I'm not a big fan of them because unfortunately I have allergy to like this smoked plum, chernosliv. Yeah. I have allergy to that stuff. That's why if I drink it, I risk of dying instantly. But generally, it kind of smells very very nice. It's like you drink that warm juice of fruits and berries, and it's like it smells a bit like fireplace. Yeah, that's something so good to try. We have another from Fragden. Oh, my friend, this one is a very good question. Does Max have a landing page or so of his organization? So, dear friends, if you are good with social media, you can actually help big time, because there are several people who were asked to make social media for the Green Cross MedEvac. Unfortunately, they failed for different reasons, or maybe without reasons. But if you have just a bit of your time, please write on this email, and that would be fantastic if you could help this organization to make a page, for example, on X, in Blue Sky, and I don't know, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. That would be something extremely cool. And just to remind you, the organization of Marcus is looking for combat medicine instructors who, it's one of the demands because of the language barrier, who must either speak or at least understand either Ukrainian or Russian language. And we would highly appreciate if you could pass that email that you can find in the description of this video to people who correspond to those demands. That would be very good.
And it is an outside job, outdoor job. It's not an indoor job. It's an outdoor job. Winter is coming, and it will be an outdoor job. And also, it is not very far from the front line, so you might hear some drones and some impact sometimes.
Yeah, but basically there are always risks. But basically it's the same as office work. You can have your corporate retreat with your colleagues somewhere in the field. You can discuss your business plan in a trench and stuff like that. It's like it works like that. I can confirm, as someone who spent 10 years in the army, it works exactly like that. The only thing you don't have is democracy in taking decisions, because there's a specifically designated designated person who does that. Yeah. I just, I imagined, like, what would it be if, for example, in the army you would have the way decisions are made in, like, corporate organization, that would be interesting. On the other hand, for example, in Rubizh, we had this box where every soldier can write his complaints, commentaries, wishes, and just drop everything in the box. And you remember yourself, it's like always there in front of the headquarters. And
it was also at the polygon.
It was also at the polygon. I don't remember this one. I remember the one that was at the base. And it's kind of interesting. Like, one thing that is kind of cool about Ukrainian army, on the other hand, it's not kind of cool because it's not the way other countries do it, is because in Ukrainian army, every soldier has his opinion. And sometimes they kind of like either argue or like have discussions with people of higher ranks. I don't know how good or bad is this, because I served all my life in Ukrainian army, right? And not other army. Is it like that in Austrian army? I bet it's not.
I don't really know how it is now. When I was in the army, in Austria, everybody, not everybody, all the male population has to go to the army or to something like Red Cross and so on. So when I was in the army, it was long time ago, and the structure was very strict. So you couldn't argue with a commander, no way. And I think I don't like it. I really like the military way, so that if you have some problems, you can talk to your commander, and your commander will decide, is this a big problem or not? If it is a big problem, he will tell it to his commander, and so on. This is okay. Going to the highest level immediately, they wouldn't have time to work for their own jobs. It's not possible. So no. And I think in our battalion, Alcatraz, it's working very well. It's working very well. So they just have to go to their next commander, group, not brigade.
Yeah, in most cases in the army, you generally don't even see your officer, because your officer is busy with paperwork, with planning, all that stuff that officers do, and you can communicate with your sergeant. And I saw so many discussions like how it's supposed to work, like, oh my god. But again, I think maybe it's just a feature of Ukrainian army, because Ukrainian army is not like we're anarchists, but at the same time, anarchy, the only case where when anarchy would actually work and function properly was actually in Ukraine in 20th century with Nestor Makhno, his guys. Like it actually worked, and most probably it's because Ukrainians are kind of natural anarchists for some, to some extent.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's like we like to live in small communities. We don't really recognize authority over us, unless it's some very, very, very powerful authority, right? However, no, like like in Ukraine, it's generally no kings, no gods.
Yes,
Well,
and
maybe
I really
gods,
like
but
it.
yeah, maybe gods, but no kings. And this is something very very like typical for, I don't know, for my people, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Uh,
I agree. But not in our battalion. In our battalion, we don't have anarchy. It's very strict military system.
yeah, well, anarchy, like army cannot survive if there's
No.
anarchy, of course. Yeah, but like in Ukrainian case, it's kind of specific, I think. And generally speaking, it's also good because there's a lot of prominent people. Like when you're in the army in your unit, right? And eventually you find a lot of, I would say, prominent people, people that are really good at something, like building drones, teaching tactics, I don't know, intelligence, gathering intelligence and things like that, social media. And with the time, you find those talents that are very good at something that they do, and then they can actually they have chance to grow.
Yeah.
And this is, for example, in Rubij, a lot of people in the press service, a lot of people in even current commander of Rubij is one of such prominent guys. He was, I remember him. He was a young officer who basically just came to the brigade back in those years, and now he's a brigade commander. Like, how crazy is that? But it's really really cool. And he's young, by the way. He's very young. Speaking of your brigade, I still want to know, like, can you tell me about somebody specific, like someone who brought you like the most impression? I will tell you about such person in my company, even in my platoon. So in my platoon, back in the days when I was a platoon sergeant, so we had this third platoon, the Foxtrot platoon, that we called Notorious Bastards. And in this platoon, we had a guy who was a cooker. And he basically cooked meals for our guys at the position. And we called him Gypsy because he basically looked like one. He had like black beard. He was like 22 years old, but he looked as if he was like 35 because of the black beard and because he was always dirty. And the reason he was always dirty, and he was wearing like very old British camo with plenty of holes, and like it was very, very dirty. The reason he did that was because he would go to the armed forces that were like on our flank, and they would think that he's their guys because he looked like, he looked like that. And he would go there, and he would be like very poor, and they would go like, oh bro, like take some tushonka, take some meat, some MREs, and he would always bring back some kind of food, and that is why we loved him so much. Are there people like that that you know in your
Yeah.
unit?
Yes, we have people like that. First of all, it is our commander. First of all, it is our commander. Our commander is he's very smart, knows a lot, also about history and so on, and he cares about his people. It's not for him. It's not like, yeah, this is just soldiers, and he cares about his people. And for me, he's really great. He's really great. Then we have one medic there. Um, his name is Seva, and Seva is a guy. When you see him, you think, yeah, he's a nice guy, and he also cares a lot about his people. And he's a nice guy, yes. But then you hear, oh yeah, when I was wherever, I got wounded here. And the next guy says, yes, and he shot 20 Russians before. And then, and when I was there, I got wounded here, and I got wounded here, and here, and here. And you always hear the same. Yes, he's some kind of superhero. He also was flying helicopters and so on. A great guy, but always just silent and calm and a nice guy. Such a great guy, a really great guy. And the other ones, so the guys that we had in our training, there are a lot. There are a lot. I could tell you about I don't know 100 names, and all of them are good. I have my special guys there, of course. One of them, his call sign is Soup. He saved the life of one of our comrades just 2 weeks ago. It was Kalash. Kalash was wounded, and he could save his life. And then he called me and said, "Hey, I did exactly what you showed us. Not only I did it. The whole team, our team, showed them." And he was very happy. He said, "Yes, I could save him." And he's out there. He's at the zero line, and he said, "Yes, God will protect him." And yes, God has to protect him because I want to see him again after this war. Not I will see him now, but I also want to see him after this war. So yes, he has to protect him and all the other guys.
What do you feel when you learned that one of the guys that you trained actually used the skills that he received from you and saved somebody's life?
Of course, I was very proud, but I was not proud because we did this training for him. I was very proud because he is the guy that did it. And I told him before he went to zero, I told him, in case I got wounded, I want to have you at my side. I told him exactly this. And he was the guy that did it. And I'm very proud. I'm very proud. He did a good job. He not only saved his life there with tamponage and so on, he also managed to bring him out. He did the whole evacuation. And it was a hard one because of the drones. But Kalash is okay. Kalash is fine. He's fine. I'm very proud.
And as you know, if Russians watch our video right now, they would never understand that. Like, why? Just shoot him. You
Yeah.
know, why bother?
Yes.
Just shoot
Yes.
him.
No,
Such
not
a
all of it.
such a gap between like
Oh, yeah.
two cultures. It's
Yeah.
hard to explain. You know,
Yeah.
before the full scale war, we already realized that we are not and will never be the same with Russians come. And when the full scale started, and when we saw what they do to their own soldiers, that is just completely another level.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is that their their disinformational forces, they work so well trying to actually project what they do on others, because basically they know that they do shit, and like they don't care much, but they want to show that others do it actually. It's so crazy. Tell me this: when you worked at evacuation in all those areas that you told me, how would this process look like? What would it look like? For example, if you have to go to a settlement and evacuate, for example, a family living there.
I didn't do a lot of evacuation very close to the front lines. I did. there was especially one that I will always have in my mind because it was a little bit hard for me. It was Avdiivka in February 24. We had to go to Avdiivka to supply, we bought 400 liters of water and all of this stuff to a humanitarian hub. And we asked the people to come with us. And there was just one that wanted to go with us. All the rest didn't want to leave the city. And just a couple of days after this, the city was occupied. And we know that the humanitarian hub got hit. We know it. So this was hard. But I can tell you a lot of evacuations from the front lines because it's not so easy to do it now. Most of the evacuation has to be done by the soldiers. They have to walk. They have to walk, and not we can't go to them and just take them in the car like it was 22 or 23. They have to walk, and then the part of evacuation of medical evacuation that I know was mostly a part from the Startpunkt to the hospitals, and this is completely different. This is just driving an ambulance to the hospital. It's the same. Our problems that we have here is that there are not enough. There are never enough. So there are NGOs carrying a lot of people in one car, and I'm not happy with it. So I could see 5 or 6 wounded people in one ambulance, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. And in my opinion, it is not necessary. You just have to bring more ambulances and more people, and then you can do it, and everybody can do it. Most of this kind of transports are like taxi driving. It's most of them are not. For a lot of them, you don't even need an ambulance. You can just bring a car and go. So this is what I don't like, and it has to be changed because it is not what I want to see. I don't want to see my comrades sitting on the floor inside of an ambulance for maybe 3 hours or more. These are my comrades that were at the front lines some hours before. They got wounded, got to the hospital, and then inside of a so-called ambulance, together with 4 or 5 people. No, I hate it. It's not that I don't like it. I hate it. It's not necessary. And these are our guys. These are our heroes. This is how we treat our heroes? No.
Yeah, I agree on that. I don't know, like recalling, for example, our experience in 2019, 2020, and we had several cases when we had to evacuate our guys from the front line itself, from zero. Back then, of course, it was perceived as, like the most extreme situation we've been to, however, back then it would involve like RPG fire, sniper fire, artillery fire, all sorts of stuff. But back then it was, from today's standpoint, it was easy because we have a guy wounded, for example, in the face. We load a car. The car goes straight to his position, like 300 meters away from his position. The guys rush out, they take the guy and they bring him to the car, and the car takes him straight to the hospital. Nowadays, it's impossible. It's impossible to take a
completely.
car like
Yeah,
even
completely.
kilometer, 2 kilometers to the front line, 5 kilometers.
Let's say 7, then it's maybe okay. Yes. When I came to Rupish, I wanted to do exactly this. I came with an ambulance, and I wanted to do the evacs from the front lines. And it was February, March 24, and it wasn't possible. We couldn't do evacs like this. So I came to Rupish to do it, but it wasn't possible. We were not able to do it. And so I learned, yes, we have to find other ways. One of the ways of bringing people back is with the land drones, but they are not good enough. I really hope that this is one of my plans. I really want to have a quadcopter or an octocopter or something like this, a big one for evacuations. I don't know how we can do this in Ukraine because of the bureaucracy. So I think we need to. I don't know. I don't know how to do it, but this would be the way it could work. Very low flying octocopters where we can evacuate the wounded with the octocopters. Maybe this works, and I would really love to do this. Um, I talked with one of my comrades about this topic, and it was just an idea that we had to bring an octocopter like this to the unit and, next year. Maybe it works.
It's actually interesting because you don't have to have like 100 big octocopters, right? Big drones. You can have just several if they are fast enough and they can pick people and deliver them. You can have just a bunch, just a couple of them, and they will work. Because the more I think about it, I think even unmanned ground vehicles that we use, those drones, the difference between them and, for example, a big ambulance car is roughly the size, but not the speed, not the like. Basically, it's the same. If there is a Russian drone, either like radio controlled or via, oh my god, fiber optic one. Basically, this drone can spot the other drone as easy as it can spot an ambulance or a car or another vehicle, and it can hit. On the other hand, of course, like less people will die, only the wounded, but still, this is not why we exist as medical services, right? So if there was a flying drone that is capable of doing that, I think just a couple of them would be probably enough to cover the needs of at least a platoon a day.
Yeah. I think it would be possible to do this, but let's see how it works in Ukraine with bureaucracy.
Yeah, Ukrainian
Let's see.
bureaucracy. People who come from Ukraine, they are not scared of German bureaucracy because we saw wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something incredible.
But this is something the volunteers have to know. Foreigners that are coming to Ukraine and think this is war. We can do whatever we want to do because this is war. And this is so stupid. It is so stupid. You can't just take an ambulance and do ambulance driving with blue lights. No, there is a law. There is a law. You can't do it. You couldn't do it in Austria or in Germany. Why do you think that you can do it in Ukraine? No.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules. We can love them, we can hate them, but they are out there. And the reason why we have rules, and the reason why, for example, soldiers still have to write those trench cards or cards of the sector, is again because of the law. A lot of people criticize this as well as bureaucracy. But for example, the way I explained this to my soldiers and the way I was explained this information. For example, you are on a position and you have to draw your card, your sector, what you see, or the orienteers. Like, why do you do that? Very easy explanation. It's like in any other country of the world. If you, for example, if you're shooting in the direction of your enemy and you're accidentally shooting a civilian person, you need to explain how it happened, and then the military prosecutor will visit your unit and will collect all your cards, and there will be investigation to understand what happened, and like who is like whose guilt is that. So that is part of the legal system, and unfortunately or fortunately, it has to exist as well. Yeah, but generally speaking, bureaucracy as it is, I don't think that it has to exist, because sometimes there are much more problems than there are benefits from it. Okay, my dear friend, I think it would be a good time to wrap it up because I don't really want to keep you up all night. I know that it's past midnight in Ukraine. Is there anything you would like to say to our dear viewers and our family there in the chat, and generally people who support Ukraine and also support your organization?
Yes, really, I want to say something. Don't believe in Russian propaganda. Don't think that we will lose this war because we don't want to fight anymore or something like this. Yes, of course, we don't want to fight. We want to have freedom. We want to have a nice way of living here. I also don't want to go for a training for technical medicine and know that they need it. Yes, but we will fight. As long as the Russians are coming, we will fight them. And we will fight them until they are out of Ukraine, until they leave Ukraine. So don't think that we will finish this war in another way than fighting them out of Ukraine. And please stay on our side. Don't be tired. We are tired. We are always tired, but it doesn't matter. So please don't be tired of supporting our guys. We need it. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, my friend. First of all, I would like to say big thanks for your service and for what you're doing for Ukrainian soldiers. Not only Ukrainian, of course, because there's also a lot of volunteers from other countries fighting for Ukraine, for all the decent people that are supporting us and fighting for us. I would like to say thank you to you personally and to your guys, and also to people of Austria, because without Austria there would not be you. And also I would like to say big thanks to all the volunteers who keep coming to Ukraine and helping us in any way possible, either in humanitarian terms or as fighters, or informationally or financially, anyhow, but they keep coming to Ukraine and keep supporting us in 2025. Thank you so much. And also big thanks to all the people in the chat, my dear friends. I miss you. We gotta stream more. I know that. We gotta speak more about the food as well. And also big thanks to the moderators, big thanks to all the supporters of my channel, to all amazing people who keep it running. And also to all the people who stand for the right things, who support democracy and freedom and fight against tyranny, because we are on the same side of the barricades. Thank you so much. Marcus, please don't run away, and to all others, have a good night, and we'll see you soon. As always, be safe. Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава!